Greetings, family all around the world. It is a pleasure to be here with you on this day to talk about Pan-Africanism, the origins, the essence, and its impact on African consciousness. We have a voice that will come to us, the honorable, the most notable, noteworthy Dr. Obadele Kambon. He is the chair of Afrikan Studies at the University of Ghana. He was birthed in Brooklyn, New York, grew up in the Carolinas to very conscious parents. And I had the pleasure of being under their tutelage in the Carolinas, Mama Mosiah Kambon and Baba Kamal Kambon. And so we will hear his voice in his conversation about Pan-Africanism today. It is a video that has aired before in other places, and we thought it would be a gift to share today, and we look forward to having him here with us personally to have an exchange. This linguist, this multi-genius, this is again the voice of the Dr. Obadele Kambon. We are currently queuing the video. Bear with us just for a moment as we deal with the challenges of technical reality, the technical issues that we have to encounter. But we will cue the video now, and we will hear Dr. Obadele Kambon. And I see that on one end it is searching. I apologize for this. We understand how this happens. But I want to talk about...
This is the classical commitment to origins of Pan-Africanism, global Kemet, and we're also going to deal with the Kenga theory of Kemetu consciousness. So all of
I'm not sure if it's frozen to you or just frozen to me, family, I just wanted to let you know that we have this powerful video. We're going to show portions of this video about Pan-Africanism. So when we talk about Pan-Africanism, it is about the idea of individuals coming together. And some suggest that it started in a certain period of time of African Americans or people of African descent and others transitioning or manumissioning back to Africa. But Okunini will share with us how that is not the case, that Pan-Africanism predates even the manumission elements or aspects of African experience in the Americas. And this is important to note, that it was not the product of responding to European incursions, but it was about an issue of identity. And this leads to people having power in the moment. Also, he will allude to the conversation around the name Black, how many times it is mentioned, Kemet, the men, Kim, the women, Kemet, Kimitu, the individuals that are from this land of the Blacks. And so when we talk about Black land, it is a situation that we understand that is deeper than simply talking about a skin color, but the word Black associated with power. He talks about this throughout various dynasties, Farafina and Bibi and other places, languages that use the color consciousness about Black, and not about color, but an issue of power. So Peter will say, we see you. We will go out, re-enter, and see how we can bring this powerful video to you, because you need to hear this, because I don't know if we really recognize what it means to be people of hue. How have we been seen in the world? We have learned to diminish ourselves. We have learned to see ourselves as inferior. But when we have scholars that bring information and content to us, a linguist who has to unearth not only the etymology of words, but also the historical context out of which the word has evolved, which then gives a greater understanding of the verbiage that we use. We understand that a period of time we become encapsulated or held in captivity by utilizing the oppressor's language. And so many times we use oppressive language and further oppress ourselves. But this linguist shares with us, this scholar shares with us how we can liberate ourselves by having the language of understanding of our own people and of our own understanding. Talks about the origins of the word Roy and Royale, and how that is tied to England, the idea of the word Afrique and Africa, and how it may be tied to a Latin reality. And so these are things that we need to know, because as we use the oppressor's language, we become further oppressed. We know that there is no way to have liberation by trying to use the tools of incarceration of a population. So we have to understand and honor our scholars. And that is what this Pan-African leadership conference or council or a series is all about. It's about unearthing the thinkers of our time who are sharing content to liberate us from the oppression. And once we get free mentally, it is possible to become free physically. So we will cue the video once again. As you can understand, we often have these challenges. These challenges come, and so we are now uploading the pre-recorded video. We're going to access it and share it with you. Peter Osei, while we're here with you, we'll have this conversation. Peter Osei says that Europeans have put bad labels on the word Black, and have put good labels on the word Black, and we all have believed and internalized this. And Dr. Amos Wilson talks about this. Indeed, our great scholar, one of my Jegna, who taught me certain things about psychology, talked about the identity issue. And yes, when we understand the oppressor's conversation about the word Black and those things that are associated with their enemies. We often use their language to describe ourselves because we have learned from them, but in reality, they are describing their enemies, and to them, the Black is the enemy because it is that which can destroy them. Dr. Francis Cress Wilson talks about it genetically, how when you put a Black individual with a non-Black person, the product or the child will be non-white. It'll be Black. And so this idea of the fear of annihilation, she talks about. Dr. Amos Wilson talks about this process by which individuals can become so dominated by Western thought that it becomes their identity. Talk about Black on Black violence in the servitude of white supremacy or white domination. Has a book called The Falsification of African Consciousness. And so we understand that language is a way to falsify our thought processes. What we are aware of, our consciousness is a thing that moves us. It is what we are aware of. And there are things that are moving at the subconscious level that we have to be aware of. And words do that for us. Words gives us a subconscious way of functioning. And so many times we move in servitude of our oppressor. And so our great thinkers have talked about that. Dr. Naim Makbar talks about the chains and images of psychological slavery. So they're saying that when you begin to use the languages of our oppressor, you begin to be oppressed. And so we become the greatest often oppressors of one another, of African people, because we believe ourselves to be as they are, and thus we are seen as inferior. Dr. Wade Nobles talks about the memes that are part of who we are, and hopefully we will have him to share more about this idea of the means. But he shares a story about the making of a sheepdog, that you have a sheepdog taken away from its mother when it is born, and it grows up on the breast of the sheep, and it grows up thinking that it is a sheep, and it will use all of its dog instincts to protect the sanctity and safety of the sheep. You can take another dog and put it in a pen with it, and it will attack and kill that other dog because it believes that other dog is its enemy. You can put its own biological mother in the pen and it will attack her because it believes that she is its enemy. And the worst thing is that you put a mirror in front of that dog, it will attack its own image in the mirror because it has grown up believing itself to be a sheep. And so we have to recognize that the consciousness that we have learned through and we continue to espouse through our language and through our patterns of behavior are things that inform us of our human capacity, and we attack and kill ourselves each day. We attack and kill ourselves when we bleach our skin. That is an attack because we believe our skin to be our enemy. We attack our hair. We process it and weaves and lace fronts. We do all of those things in attack and assault, assuming that is the problem. But the reality is our consciousness, that we have begun to believe ourselves to be inferior because we have been taught by others who see us as their enemy. And so as a result, they teach us what they believe about us, and we believe what they believe about us. And that is the nascent or the beginning of a seedbed of confusion. And so we have various thinkers that share this with us. And this is the elevation of African consciousness when we begin to recognize the damage that has been done. He says, Peter says that I meant to say, put all good labels on white. And exactly, I got you about angel food cake versus devil food cake, the idea of black and the white. And for them, it becomes an antithetical existence, that anything that is antithetical to them is seen as the enemy because of the dichotomous thinking. Dr. Leonard James Myers talks about this, which talks about optimal and suboptimal worldview, ways of being. And so for them, they are dichotomous. That is, it is either or. For them, it is this or that. Dr. Kambon shares about how their thinking becomes this diametrical opposed reality where it is male versus female, when in reality the African construct suggests that it is male and female, that both work together in harmony and in unison. But we use the language of our oppressor and we talk about the weaker sex. And so when he unpacks the dynamics of language and the words that we use, you will hear something. And this is the power of the Pan-African agenda. When we begin to see ourselves as one people, as opposed to being bifurcated, split, when these individuals gather together and they have this conversation about the world's people, the world's nations, the nation, the United Nations coming together. It is those that are classified as white and a European being the world and the world nations. And so the question was about how old is Kambon? Kambon is he has to be he is old as he is. Chronologically, I'm sure he's in his 30s. A profound brother. I don't want to put it out there, but I will say that he is amazing. I honor him for his deep wisdom, his deep thought, how he was able to go into Ghana. Again, I said he grew up in the U.S., but he went into Ghana and started learning a tree and learned tree so well, had the dialect that the tree speakers couldn't tell that he didn't grow up speaking tree. He speaks many languages, and just again, indeed, a multi-genius. So I am looking forward to having this particular video show up, and we will have the video to show and to air in a moment. We will pull it back up, and so what I will encourage everyone to do is to stay tuned, and I want everyone, the people that are here, to just type in some topics or some individuals that you would like for us to interview here, to interface with at the Pan-African Leadership Conference. What would you like to hear talked about, spoken about? So if you type that in, that'd be good, and we will reschedule this video. We're having some challenges. This is life. This is how it works out. I guess couldn't be here because of challenges, technological challenges, and so we're here. The video is not queuing, and so type in some things that you would like for us to share, to talk about. Peter, I like what you said about how we understand the God concept. It is a travesty to go over to Ghana, for example, and see a white Jesus all over the place. I saw it also in the Gambia. So how can one be liberated when their deity looks unlike themselves? And so we will talk about what that means for people of African descent. How can you have the deity that is your leader be not like you? That's a heavy proposition. Until next time.